Hi all, welcome to my new series called Women in the Bible. So today's woman in the Bible is going to be Esther. So for this, I'm going to start like how Esther became Esther. No, not how Esther became Esther, but like how she became like really known as like that brave, amazing person that Esther is. So after a while, after Esther got into the palace, she has a cousin named Mordecai. And Mordecai and Haman are two different people. We'll touch on who Haman is later. Mordecai is Esther's cousin, right? Mordecai is Esther's cousin. He doesn't like to bow down to Haman. Haman is the king's advisor, but because he holds that advisor slash minister place, he holds high power because he's the one who asks the king about laws that he comes up with, and the king obviously still has to approve those laws. So it's not just like Haman just telling the king to do these, like put these laws in place. The king has to approve these laws. So Haman doesn't like Mordecai because he doesn't bow down to Haman. So Haman goes to the palace to the king and says there's a group of people, the Jews, but he doesn't say that to the king because the king would have said no. So he goes to the king and he says there's a group of people in your land that do not go through the same rules that you put in place. And so he says that they should kill those people so they do not influence the people who do follow the king's rules. And so the king agrees because he's like, oh, so these are like bad people influencing his people wrongly, which was not the case at all. So Haman manipulates the king into saying yes to those laws. And so one of the servants that's with Esther listens to this, and he goes back to tell Esther this, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is really crazy. And so she goes to the king's palace. Well, she doesn't just go to the king's palace. Her cousin Mordecai also comes there and tells her that she has to go to the palace to help save her people. And so she's like, oh, well, I can't do that or else I'll be killed. And so she really thinks on it, and she's like, but then Mordecai, sorry, he didn't think on it that much. She just is like, oh yeah, this is this. So Mordecai actually tells her that even if she dies doing this, at least she'd know like what she did was right. Because if someone else would have helped the Jews to like be free of that law that was put in place. But as for Esther and her household, she will be killed too because she is a Jew and like her family are Jews. And so Esther thinks on it and she's like, okay, so I will go to the palace. But before that, she prays and fasts for 3 days, putting everything in the hand of God. And so and then after those 3 days of fasting and prayer, she goes to the palace to talk to the king. And so there was this thing, you couldn't just go to the palace. You had to have the king's approval to go to the palace. Or when you get to the palace, he has to point his like gold gauntlet at you. And if he does not, you're executed. But God showed Esther favor and so when she got to the palace, the king pointed his golden gauntlet at her, and she was like overjoyed because she's not gonna die. Like, this is so awesome sauce for her. And so she tells the king that she wants to invite him to a banquet. So she invites him to 2 banquets. So on the first night, he goes to that banquet with Haman. She asks him to bring Haman along with him. And so on the second banquet, she tells the king and says, there is someone who's trying to kill me and my people. And he says, the king. he says, "Who is this?" while Haman is in her presence. He says, "That evil man is your advisor, Haman." And the king is like really angry, because why would he want to kill the Jews, and why would Haman manipulate him into saying all this? And so he says, instead of that law, that Haman will be executed instead, saving her and her people. So that's Esther's story today, the Woman in the series, Women in the Bible series. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will make another one on Ruth. Bye, y'all. Love you. And God loves you too. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Deuces, and deuces. Bye.